Ryan Pinsey here with you for Seminoles.com and your official game preview, Florida State and Duke this Saturday at 3 o'clock. And it's hard to imagine, but this is a must-win game for the Florida State Seminoles as the Noles are currently 0-2 in the Atlantic Coast Conference. It's a similar theme, though, that we've heard from players throughout the week that we've spoken to. You just got to get a win.
3 losses in a row, we need it pretty bad. Not just because, we lost 3 times in a row, because we want to win. We're going to get our, just in the winning, help us get our spirits back up and everything, get us back on the right track.
Win right now is very important, because we're down 3 straight and everybody, everybody hungry right now. So a win right now, I feel like it'll get our morale back up, get the fans back going, and everybody will be back where we're supposed to be at.
This will be the first meeting for Florida State and Duke since back in 2007. It was a blackout game here in Tallahassee, so a fresh team for the Seminoles to face on Saturday. But don't overlook the Duke Blue Devils. They have a high-powered offense led by quarterback Sean Renfrey.
Yeah, they're a great team. A lot of people always say, it's just Duke, it's just Duke. They do a great job on offense. They throw a ball around a lot. They average over 300 yards a game. They play really smart football.
Definitely, just watching them on film, they're definitely a talented team. We just have to be prepared mentally and physically just to match up with them. And again, like you said, you can't, especially in the position we're in, we can't overlook anybody anymore. So we just have to really come out there and prepare every game like it's our last game.
Everybody going in this game, we're looking at it the same, like a championship game. We got to play hard, and that's what we talked about in our team meeting. We can't look at it as, it's just Duke, another team. We got to really look at it and say we got to dial in on this team. We got to play them like they Auburn or Alabama or somebody. Ready?
I've never played Duke since I was in college and never played against them. So looking forward to the challenge, going up to North Carolina again. It's going to be a great game, and I know those guys are going to be confident, feeling like we've lost 3 games in a row and things like that. So, if I were them, I would feel the same way. But I think, this is going to be a change for us. Definitely go out here and get this win and get some momentum going.
Matching wits with head coach Jimbo Fisher this week will be David Cutcliffe, the head coach of the Duke Blue Devils. He knows a thing or two about developing quarterbacks, including both of the Manning brothers, and he says that the Seminoles are a much different team with E.J. Manuel under center.
They're a good team. They'll be a better team as Manuel gets the reps this week. He looked really good. He didn't look hurt. From what I'm hearing, he felt really good after the ball game. They have a lot of weapons and speed on offense. Defensively, they're a really fine football team. Not much has happened with Florida State. They're good. It's just football. It's why we have sport. It's why we play the games. It doesn't always work out like you want it. Now, whether they've lost or won, it really, and I know you just say I'm saying, it doesn't matter.
We're now joined by Seminoles.com senior writer Brandon Meller. And Brandon, the Seminoles got some good news this week, finding out that Jared Scooter Haggins will be back on the sidelines for the Florida State Seminoles. I thought it was impressive when we talked to him. This is a guy that said doctors told him 4 to 6 weeks with a broken hand. Guy's back in 3 weeks.
Yeah, we talked to him in the preseason. He said his work ethic really kind of makes him who he is as a player, and we get to see that. It also applies to him coming back from injury. So you add Scooter Haggins back into the mix, and this is a potent passing attack that really gets even better. Now you have Haggins back. You got to keep running the ball. And we saw a little bit of flashes last week that FSU could get it going. You got to do more so that this week.
What do you think the Wildcat opens up this week? If you try to go back to that, you got a guy like Haggins who's back there. You've got a guy like Green, both of whom were quarterbacks in high school. Does that open up your offense a little bit more to try and predicate the run?
I think it does. And we saw Chris Thompson back there, and we knew he wasn't going to throw. So you kind of, in a way, eliminate one of the best parts of the Wildcat, and that's that you really don't know what's going to happen back there. A guy could run or throw, but you have several guys on this team who used to be quarterbacks, and that's a big thing. And you got guys who can pass. We saw it last week. We saw a play where a receiver for Wake Forest threw a touchdown pass. So anytime you can open up that offense and give the defense something else to think about is a good thing, and they have the personnel now to do it.
I think one thing that fans may not realize is that this isn't the same old Duke Blue Devils team that we've seen for several years. David Cutcliffe has really taken a lot of ownership of this team. He has wanted to get a lot faster, a lot stronger, and it certainly seems like he has done that. If you look at the talent that he has on this team, it's much better than in years past.
Yeah, it really is, and it's led by Sean Renfrey and what he's been able to do under Cutcliffe. And you're talking about a top 20 passing team in the country, and that's a big deal. We're talking about Duke football here, not Duke basketball. This is a top 20, offensive attack. So Florida State, State, again, another week, another opponent who knows to throw the ball around, and you're talking about a secondary for Florida State that's really struggled. So you got to get a win. You got to improve in a lot of areas, and you're gonna have your hands full this weekend against a team who, FSU's won 16 games against all time. So it's an opponent that traditionally doesn't put up much of a fight, but it should be different this year.
Yeah, you have to think that the players need to go in with a mindset like they're playing Oklahoma, even though they're playing Duke, because if they don't, they could easily come up with an upset. What are your keys for victory this week?
Well, key is defensively. You got to eliminate those penalties again. And we saw last week, we saw this team, really play well most of the game, but there's those couple plays where it was a penalty or a big play that they gave up were the difference. I mean, you talk about it, Florida State, eliminating the run for the most of the game, but then you miss some tackles, you get some key penalties, and Wake Forest ran all over the team in the second half. So you've got to play consistent from start to finish, and that defense really needs to hone in and play like they were playing the first 3 games of the season.
You can stay with Brandon throughout the game. You can actually check in with him. He will have live analysis from the Florida State and Duke game on Seminoles.com. He'll also provide his insights in the post-game release, Florida State and Duke, 3 o'clock. We'll also have video highlights and reaction from the sidelines and in the locker room as Florida State takes on the Duke Blue Devils, 3 o'clock. Seminoles.com is once again your home for comprehensive coverage of the Florida State Seminoles. That's it from here in Tallahassee. I'm Ryan Pensy for Seminoles.com.